Welcome back, guys. This is me again, the Metaverse Explorer, back again with another episode of Star Atlas. And guys, there is so much information. They just released a huge bomb on us. Not really a bomb, like we knew this would be coming sometime, but this is crazy. We have so much information. I'm going to leave the link for you down here below. All you got to do is read it yourself. I'm just going to go over it and give you my general commentary and my general thoughts about it. It's really incredible. We knew like these ships had manufacturers. Now we know a little bit more about the manufacturers and a little bit more about the races and where you're going to go and get these resources and which ones might be the most valuable for you guys out there. So I'm super excited. Let's read this and let's go through it slightly thoroughly and then have a good look. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Hey there, it's me, the Metaverse Explorer. If you're new here, I do Star Atlas videos, tutorials, commentary, and general updates for the Star Atlas metaverse. Full disclosure, I am a part of one of the leading DACs in Star Atlas, Aephian. You might have heard about us, AEP. Though I don't think this should be a problem. I do this because I love it. Star Atlas has captivated me. I'm aiming to be a part-time Star Atlas streamer. If you want to support me, all you gotta do is click that button and ding that bell for me. Thanks for your support. Let's get to this episode. Alright, so thanks again for coming back. Let's have a look at this picture here, which I use as my YouTube thumbnail as well. And it looks like it's a gorgeous Oyster ship. We can see Avizu's Opod right here, and we can see Avizu's armway right there as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 armways, 1 Opod, and that looks cool. So this must be like a, I don't know what ship this is. It's another Visas. Maybe it's a capital class. Looks like it. Anyway, let's read the small. So they released 2 things. The first thing is a Medium article, and then the next thing is the faction aligned companies document, the public document. So which me thinks there's a private document. Of course there is. So what do they say here? They say they released the newly released faction aligned companies. It deepens the player's understanding of the galactic economy. They do say something here that I disagree with, to be honest. They say the economic role of different risk zones. So let's read it. The faction company document further showcases specific features of ship manufacturers' alignments. Yes, it does that. With different factions. Yes, it does that. The economic role of different risk zones. It does that slightly. Their inhabitants, slightly. And resources, slightly. And the loyalty mechanics for obtaining manufacturer blueprints for ships. It only does this slightly. It doesn't tell us specifically how you're going to get it. It tells us like you're going to go and do missions for them, possibly, and then you accrue loyalty that way. We don't even know if it is missions, but I assume it is missions properly. They did mention it was missions, so it's probably missions. And that's about it here. There's nothing else. There's nothing else here. That's crazy. Now, let's have a look at the document, which is crazy. I'm going to zoom it in here so you can see. You can read it along with me. Faction aligned companies released only a couple of hours ago. This is a work in progress, and remember, they can change anything here. They can totally change whatever they want. First thing I'm going to tell you is look at the colors. Mud is red. Oni is green. Ursa is yellow. These colors give you an indication of what kind of ship it's from. Okay, what the ships come from, what they stem from. First off, there will be manufacturer blueprints. First off, there's a Council of Peace. There's 3 major factions. We know that, these 3. Okay, and then there are minor factions as well. I think there's 3 minor factions in Star Atlas, and they don't count their Thotali as a faction at all. So they're not minor at all. They're like kind of like neutral kind of thing. Because I don't think you want to attack alien races, do you? I don't. Like mysterious light being alien races. No, I don't. Gaining access to the manufacturer blueprints requires accumulated manufacturer loyalty. So there's ships. These ships are made by manufacturers, not by the factions themselves. The Mud don't make ships. There is a manufacturer that is very closely affiliated with the Mud, which is the Pierce line. And the Pierce line will allow you, once you do missions with the Pierce company, the Pierce organization, you're able to get their blueprints and you're able to make those missions. Sometimes the blueprints need 2 factions, two companies, 2 ship makers for you to get their blueprints. So this will function like a reputation system. The more loyalty one garners with a manufacturer, the more blueprints they'll have access to. So this is the faction council alignments. It's very simple. There are 3 major factions. Each faction has a proprietary, like their major ship producer. And in this source, let's look. The proprietary manufacturers are Pierce, Busan, and Visus. And we know, of course, Pierce is for Mud, Busan is for Oni, and Visus is for the Oyster. Owning and trading proprietary ships across factions is unrestricted, but subject to transport and transaction fees. This is something we have not seen before. This is not something we've seen yet. So transport fees, that's something to keep an eye on. Interesting. So for example, the Mud proprietary ship producer is the Pierce line. Access to more advanced Pierce blueprints requires increased Pierce loyalty. Not faction loyalty, but Pierce loyalty. To increase Pierce loyalty, a player must be aligned with the Mud faction or have a Mud faction pass. And remember, they do explain later on that even if you do have a faction pass, that means you're in another faction. You accrue loyalty faster in your own faction than you do in your faction pass or your second faction. So each COP faction has 2 dual faction manufacturers. So in this instance, look at the Ogrica, look at the Opal, and look at the Calico. So we'll go back to the colors before. I'm going to zoom in a bit more so you can see. Yep. So the Ogrica is blue and yellow. Blue and yellow. Blue and yellow. Busan and Visus. So those 2, that ship, the Ogrica ship line is made by the Busan and made by Visus. And we know that Busan is from the Oni and Visus is from the Oyster. Okay? And same applies to these. And of course they are unrestricted but still subject to transport and transaction fees. Not a problem. Now let's go down. This is where it starts getting super interesting, guys. I'm going to zoom back out. I got a comment saying someone really appreciates me zooming in so that they could read. So you're welcome, man. My pleasure. There are other factions. The medium and high-risk zone houses minor factions who boast their own proprietary ship lines. Aligning with a minor faction does not influence a player's existing Council of Peace faction alignments. No problems. So the Jorvik or Jorvik are the BYOS line, the BIOS Ecos. Is it the BIOS Ecos Grenadier? And the BIOS EUP? Yeah. A faction, the Jorvik are faction outlaws and pirates plaguing the medium and high-risk zones. You require medium and high-risk zone gameplay, faster loyalty accrual in the high-risk zone, more reason for you to go there and lose your ships, your assets. I don't like that. You bought a ship for $100,000 and there is like a 1% chance that you're going to lose it all if someone comes and ganks you with their own DAC. Ooh, nah, no way. This is why I think insurance is going to come into play. But the insurance is going to be hell of expensive because you'll be earning a lot in the high-risk zone. Resources used in the blueprints are spread across all regions for the Jorvik people. Ecos, a faction of radicals who terraform via bombing in the medium and high-risk zone. You know, this is why the Ecos Grenadier comes into play. It requires medium and high-risk gameplay, faster loyalty in the high-risk zone, another reason to go there. Resources used are spread across all regions, no problem. The Tufa are a faction of metagenic creatures, Scourge of the Cataclysm. High-risk zone gameplay only, loyalty in the high-risk player. Resources, this is where it gets super interesting. This is where the alpha comes in, guys. So listen to this. Resources used in the blueprints are spread across all faction regions with the exception of some exotic high-risk zone locked materials. I'm going to read that again. Resources used in the blueprints are spread across all faction regions, which means, you know, Oni, Oyster, Mud, with the exception of some exotic high-risk zone locked materials. We need more information for this. What locked materials are there? We need to know. I need to know. And now, my favorite, Photali. Photali are an ancient race of light-based creatures and source of extremely advanced tech. Extremely advanced tech sounds lucrative, doesn't it? They are faction agnostic. You don't have to be with them. They are faction agnostic. We don't know how exactly this is going to work, but let's find out. They are not a faction, but doing their mysterious biddings will increase loyalty with them. To unlock access to secret manufacturing techniques using highly exotic materials found in the high-risk zone, the techniques and exotic materials are integral in the manufacturing of rainbow ships. Rainbow Ohm, Rainbow Chi. So far, we'll see what the new ones are. And this is the most complex and time-consuming manufacturing line, which makes me think this is where a lot of the money is going to flow to. A lot of the more cashed up DACs, people who want, because it's just supply and demand. If something takes you a lot of time to produce and a lot of resources to produce it, there's generally going to be less of them. And when there's less of something and the demand is the same, then the price goes up, doesn't it? Of course, there's counteracting efforts where, the price goes up. Now people are more incentivized to go out and find those resources and build those ships and bring the price back down. But at the end of the day, it's still complex and time consuming. So the Rainbow series are going to be probably the most lucrative, I think. Let's see how it actually turns out. Yeah, just basically what it says here. Access to Rainbow blueprints requires increased Vitality loyalty, and a player can be aligned with any faction, but must complete Vitality missions. So the Vitality missions might probably be super hard as well, because anyone can do it. You don't have to be with any faction. Anyone can do it. So this might be like the guild missions or the DAC missions, which is probably cool. And over here, they give us a small outline of some of the ships that we've seen and what kind of categories they fall in. And most people know this already, but it's good to have a little overview anyway. So let's say Pierce. We know the Pierce manufacturer, the Pierce ship manufacturer is from the Mud faction, and you need a faction access, which is Mud access. They're proprietary military class tech. Busan is from Oni, and you need faction Oni. Visus is from the Erster, and you need the Erster faction access. For the Calico Hero and the Calico Guardian ships, you need a Mud Major and an Oni Minor. So you need these two. So if you're in Mud, it's probably good to get an Oni faction pass if you're interested in acquiring blueprints for the Calico Hero or Calico Guardian. Does that make sense? For the Ogrica, you need Oni and Erster, so you need these two. You need to be in one faction, and you need to have a faction passport for either of them. And let's go here, it gets a bit more interesting. Fimble, you don't need to be in any faction, but you need to have faction passports for all three. So you're either in Oni and you need one for these two. Rainbow, Fatali, you need all three. And what is interesting for the Fimble Bios and the Fimble Ecos and the Tufa, you don't need to be in any faction, you just need to have an alignment with them. You just need to have an alignment with them. And this is done by an initiation mission. A Jorvik faction initiation, Ecos faction initiation, Tufa initiation. Let's read some of this here. We know the Fimbus Bios is contraband military class tech. The Ecos is recycled military class, and the Tufa is high-risk zone native. So I think anyone who goes to the high-risk zone, they're going to be meeting Tufa. They seem to, since they are the source scourge of the source, then they're going to be everywhere in the high-risk zone, and they're going to be the main NPC people that we beat. High-risk zone native absorbs mix of all class and exotic technology, which is pretty cool. So this document, well, that's the summary of the document. I'll just go over what I've gleaned from this. What I've gleaned from this is that we need. This is great information. We've needed this information. People have kind of surmised it from the information we were given before, because you could kind of tell from the descriptions of it, and you can tell from the make of the ship what it looks like. This doesn't look like a human ship. It's like an alien ship mixed with a robot ship, that sort of thing. But now we actually know. And I'm very happy that this is a public release, and that there is probably a private somewhere there that they're still working on and trying to get it down pat. What I want to know is, when you picked your faction, we knew what resources that your faction would have in their own native zone, in their own map, in their own section. We need to know if these what requirements, and not even just the amounts, but what requirements are needed for the Busan ship. Not the quantity, but I want to know this item in this area is needed for this ship. I need to make that flowchart. I need to make that diagram, so I can see that for me to have this ship, I need to have this access, and I need to have this resource that I can get from going here. That sort of stuff, that sort of thing. And all these things will come later on. Don't even worry about that. People are super serious about this. Same way we use Excel sheets, same way we use as much information as we can glean. People are going to do this. People are going to do this. My second thoughts, the rainbow shifts. I'm so glad I have a block of cheese, and I'm so glad I have a chi. I am so glad I bought these two because I just love the look of them. And now I've been reaffirmed in my feelings because these are now the most complex and time-consuming manufacturing line. So I'm expecting my block of cheese and my chi to increase in value. This is what I'm expecting. This, if it doesn't happen, that's okay. I'm not going to sell it. I just still love the look of it. This is why it's super important for you to buy ships that you think you feel like you like. You know, it doesn't matter if you're buying it to flip it. Don't do that. You're buying it to play the game. And even if the price goes down, you're happy because you're riding that ship that looks super cool. In my case, that was the block of cheese and my rainbow chi, my water-themed ship. My other thoughts. Of course, we know the TUFA are going to be high-risk zone only. No problems. What else? This, I'll be honest, this section kind of confused me a little bit. See if you understand it fully, leave it in the comments because I want to have a conversation about it. So players in the major faction will accumulate loyalty at a faster rate than those in the minor faction. No problem. But players in the major faction, we only get to choose one faction. So why is there a distinction between major and minor faction? Right? So yes, we can have at one faction, and then we have faction passports to let us be a minor in the other two factions, right? Faction, and then go to the next sentence. Faction passes will allow the third faction to accumulate loyalty and unlock blueprints. What? Why is there now a third? They say it like it's a third faction, like you're either one faction or none. You can't. See, this is where I'm getting confused. If you fully understand it, let me know. Like, I understand that the ship manufacturers have two factions, yes, but they're talking about players, not the ships, not the ship manufacturers. They're talking about players. So I fully know, like, to make an Ogrica, you need these two faction access, or other ship manufacturers who are affiliated with one faction. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. I'll end it here. What do you think about this document? I think it's been very, very well needed, very well deserved. We've been waiting a while for this kind of information, and this is what we need. This is law. Law is what creates the world that we're going to be playing in. Without law, we're just staking NFTs, not even NFTs. We're staking FTs to the blockchain and just getting some tokens in return. We're just getting some tokens that happen to be worth money, which are called Atlas. But this is why we're here. We want to play the game with law. And I want to know that if I want to manufacture a ship that's going to be really hard to get, I want to know that that's by the rainbow and they're by the mysterious ancient race of light-based creatures. Yes! Like, I mean, come on. That's what we all want, isn't it? So law is super important, and I'm glad they brought this out for us to feel like there is a fleshed out law that's starting to come about. Even though this is all in development, all of this could change very easily, but I'm super happy for this to have happened. What do you think about it? I want you to leave a comment, tell me what you think right now. Leave a like. You don't have to subscribe, it's okay. According to the analytics, about only 20% of users subscribed, which is okay. You don't have to subscribe. At the end, it's just like a weird metric anyway. It's okay. If you enjoy the videos, that's it. But I want you to leave a comment. Tell me what you think about the sentence that I didn't fully understand. And tell me if you were really excited for this release, for this little article. It's just the beginning of the year. They've got lots of things planned, and it's Friday as well soon for them, so they should be updating the roadmap. I'll tell you what new updates are coming out. And there is a town hall tomorrow. And then they're going to be doing a Twitter space afterwards with Ashes and people from the club and the Moon Man, and I'm going to be there and we're going to talk about this. So hopefully you see this video just before the town hall and just before the Twitter spaces. So I will see you there. I will see you soon. Ciao. Bye.